Hello everyone, welcome back to Nail Art by Nessa. I am Vanessa and you can call me Nessa. In this video we are going to create a St. Patrick's Day look. I have prepped my nails off camera, and to start off this look I am using a white by Born Pretty. It is titled Day, and I'm going to do 2 layers on my thumb and middle finger and set each layer in the UV light. I am also going to do a French tip on my ring finger with this same color. So I don't know if any of my regular viewers noticed, I typically put out a video every week, usually on Friday or Saturday, but this last week, unfortunately, I missed my deadline. This is actually the video I was planning on posting last week. Unfortunately, I just didn't have time to complete the video, so if you were disappointed, I'm sorry, but I will try typically to put out at least one video every week. Thank you to everyone that has been following me and watches my videos, that have subscribed and likes my videos. I really appreciate all of the support, and of course for all of the comments. Recently I had a comment that my videos are like ASMR to them, which I have to say I love that, because I have been told so many times throughout my life, through my career and just in my personal life, that my voice is very monotone. So I will definitely take the compliment that my videos are like AMSR. For my pinky and index fingers, I decided to go with a full coverage sparkle. So here I'm creating my own sparkle blend, and I'm using this dark green as well as this light green out of the pack. And the light green has a little bit of a variety of sizes and sparkles. Now I just mixed that together, and I'm going to paint a base coat on my pinky finger and then apply the sparkles directly to the base. Now when doing this, I definitely recommend to actually set the base coat in the light for about 5 seconds before applying the sparkles. It just helps it so that the base coat doesn't run everywhere. I ended up getting a lot of sparkles and base coat into my cuticles, so I don't recommend that. Just set it for 5 seconds and you'll notice a huge difference. Once you've applied the sparkles, just set it in the light for the rest of the 60 seconds. And then when it comes out of the light, just a nice little brush off with a soft brush to make sure you get any loose sparkles. I did do 2 coats of this just to make sure I had full coverage. When doing this and painting the base coat on top of the sparkles, you will probably end up with a few sparkles on your base coat brush, so just remember to wipe off the tip of your brush before you put it back into your bottle, because you don't want a whole bunch of sparkles in your bottle. And of course you see me here just kind of patting it down before I put it in the UV light. I'm just trying to make sure that those sparkles are sitting flat. And then once again, I just brush it off after it comes out of the UV light, and then go over it again with a base coat. I'm going to repeat this process on my index finger. Once you've completed your base coat and set it in the light, you're going to want to grab a file and a buffer, and you're going to want to go over the free edge of your nail as well as the surface and just buff off any lumps or bumps left from the sparkles, and just keep running your fingers over the surface to make sure it feels smooth. Your nail is going to look a little cloudy after this, but don't worry, once we apply our final top coat, the sparkle will come back. Now that all of our nails are prepped and ready to go, we can start stamping. So we are going to use Beauty Bigbang XL-067, and this one is all St. Patrick's Day themed. Because I'm working on myself, I tend to pick up debris on my nails, so I'm just wiping it off with a little bit of alcohol before I stamp on it. For stamping, I'm going to use my Beauty Bigbang cube stamper and this polish by Born Pretty. I'm just going to scrape it off and then go ahead and stamp directly on the nail. Once I've done that, I do go in with a detail brush and just touch up the couple spots that didn't quite pick up perfectly. So in the clover leaf especially, there were a couple little bald spots, so I just went in and touched that up. Once I've done that, you can go in with a brush and a little bit of acetone and clean up around your nail, but I prefer to just go ahead and use my top coat. I do 2 layers, setting each layer in the UV light, and then I will use a little bit of acetone on a cotton pad and just wipe around the nail. I find it just faster and easier to do it this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp on the rest of my nails. While stamping your nails, try not to put your finger directly on the wet polish. Otherwise, you'll do what I did and have polish on the back of your hand as well as on top of your nail. With a striped image like this one, you are going to want to go around the edges and just make sure that the lines are lying flat against the nail and not lifted, touching the skin. Otherwise, when you apply your top coat, you will notice that you have little bumps where the nail polish wasn't lying flat against the nail. Now I'm going to take my liquid latex and just paint a line directly under the French tip portion of my nail and just let that dry. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my middle finger. Now with my middle finger, I've already set the top coat on it, and I can just go ahead and wipe it with acetone and get all that excess off. Now while I was painting my nail, I accidentally got a little bit of the top coat on my cuticle where there was a little bit of green and sealed that green onto my skin, so try not to do that. I really want to make sure that liquid latex is dry before I stamp on top of it, so we're going to move on to my pinky and index finger, and I decided to stamp some gold on top, and I just wanted this little teeny clover leaf for my pinky nail, so I targeted it and stamped that onto my nail. I did a little bit of touch up and then sealed that in with the top coat. Next, for my index finger, I went with these 2 clovers together, and it is a really pretty image. However, because it's got a bit of a design to it, it kind of disappears on top of the sparkles. I think if I was to do this again, I would actually target multiples of the image I did on my pinky and just kind of put a few of those on my index finger. I think it shows up a little bit better, but regardless, I still think it looks pretty, just a little bit of gold on the nail. Now we can move on to my French tip. So for this one, I chose this image and I'm just using half of it. I don't need very much of it just because it's only going on the French tip portion of my nail. And I stamp that down, and once I'm done, I can just pull off that liquid latex, which gives me a perfect line. I could have left it here, but I decided to go a little bit more elaborate, and I decided to add some gems. So I'm going to just paint a line of the stuck drill glue just right where the French tip ends. So I fiddled around with the gems for a little bit. I started off with some bigger gems, didn't really like it, took them off, and then positioned a sort of medium-sized gem with smaller gems on either side. I had 3 gems on either side of the big gem, and then I decided I didn't like that, so I took one of them off and just did 2 gems on either side of the big gem, and then spaced them out so that it looked nice, and set it in the UV light for 30 seconds. Okay, I'm almost finished with my left hand, so now I'm going to take my top coat and just seal this in by going all around the gems. Of course, I do not want to go over top of the gems. The idea is to seal them with the top coat all around it. And of course, don't forget to cap the free edge of your nail. Once I've done what I can with the brush, I go in with my detail brush and just make sure I really get all around those gems and in between them. Now I'm going to take some caviar beads just to finish off the look. I use my gold to tie in the gold from the other nails and just place these all around the gems. I realize you can't see what I'm doing very well, so I bring in my cushion just to get a little closer so you can really get an idea of how I'm placing these. I wanted it to look like a setting on a ring, so I'm just using the little gold caviar beads to kind of look like the little brackets that hold your ring gems in place. Once I am happy with the positioning of this, I go ahead and set it in my light, and then I move on and repeat everything again on my right hand. Okay, so this is my final look, and I think they turned out really well. They definitely scream St. Patrick's Day to me. If I was to change one thing about the design, it would be my index fingers, and it's just the image that I chose to stamp on top. I just feel like it really doesn't show up very well. However, I love the splash of gold that it brings to the nail. So let me know what you think. Are you doing St. Patrick's Day nails this year? Are you going out for St. Patrick's Day? Can you go out for St. Patrick's Day in your area with all the restrictions? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you know every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!